Yeah. Water cooler off back there so everybody
Yes,
can
it is
hear?
on.
Okay, great. I sat in the audience and I listened to that myself, so. Welcome to the March meeting of the Planning and Zoning Group for Mexico Beach. This board's made up of volunteer citizens from Mexico Beach. We're an advisory board. I would like to remind anybody that has anything on the agenda that we're voting on to attend the council meeting a week from tomorrow. That is the deciding second portion of this. We advise the board of our decision, and then they make a final decision. Sometimes, most of the time, they accept our recommendation, but not always. So there's hope one way or the other if you don't get the answer you want from us. We do try to stick very close to the LDR regulations, just to prevent, if you make one exception, then there's another and another and another. So that's kind of our philosophy. We've got a good group here, and we have one announcement at the end of the table.
Yeah, so next April, I think April 2nd or 4th, the next meeting will be my last. After 17 years of owning property here, we're moving on, take care of some aging parents, and so.
We'll miss you.
Wow, so you go.
And Lindsay, you want to talk about your situation?
Yeah, I'll be leaving on the 9th of March. But I'll still be here to help out for the transition.
Okay. Appreciate that. Done a great job for us.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your hard
You're
work.
welcome.
So, couple openings. Certainly, we're always looking for interested people on the board. So, if you're interested or you know of anybody, please, we have applications to fill out at City Hall, and Mario can help you on that. So, let's go ahead and get started. We'll call a roll.
Mr. Hogan?
Here.
Ms. Lindsay? Here. Mr. Carrigan?
Here.
Mr. Driver?
Here.
Mr. Masters?
Here.
Ms. Miller? Here. Mr. Kraus?
Here.
And just a reminder, the members of the board would vote. The alternates would vote if a member of the board wasn't here. But certainly we hope and want input from the alternates, even though they may not be able to vote when all the regular folks are here. So we'll move forward. We have some minutes attached. Did anybody have any comments or changes to the minutes? Everything looks good to me. Okay. We have a motion to accept the minutes.
Make a motion to accept.
Second. Okay. All in favor? Great. Okay. All right. The way we do this is there's a public portion and then a board portion of these meetings. So we first open it up for public comment and give anybody a chance in the audience to speak, answer any questions that the board might have. And we're official, but we're kind of informal. So you'll hear board members asking questions during the public portion, which is fine. And then the board might have comments when we move over to the board portion, and then we'll take a vote. So, first one up is 121 Ocean Plantation Circle, front setback. I'm gonna go ahead and open the public hearing on that particular variance request. And Gina, can you give us a executive summary on this one?
Yeah, so this one, basically, you have all the documents in your paperwork, but there's an encroachment on the front setback. This house is constructed. The contractor mirrored the floor plan, and when they did, that made them encroach on this setback because it's a cul-de-sac. So, that's basically it.
Okay. Do we have anybody in the audience representing 121 Ocean Plantation Circle?
Yes.
Okay. Can you state your name and
My name is Keith Poole. I'm the contractor for 121 Ocean Plantation Cat Design Group. It was an error on our part. We caught it the other box on the one that we did on the corner, and that's what happened. So we staked it with the surveyor, he staked the four corners, but as the house mirrors inside those four corners is where the problem is. There's a radius that comes around on the cul-de-sac. We encroached by, I think it's 5.8 feet. We didn't realize it till we went to build a wood deck on the backside and started pulling our measurements and figuring out where we were at, and that's where it came to light. So we raised a flag and come down and we asked for mercy, and I apologize, it won't happen again. We put measures in place to correct that. It's one of those things that happens. So I've been building a long time, I haven't had one of these things happen before. If it had been a normal rectangle lot, we wouldn't have had a problem, we'd have been within the setbacks, but with the naked eye, you couldn't tell, but we knew it was wrong, and so we came in and we're asking for forgiveness and seeing what we need to do to try to get it corrected. So, happy to answer any questions. We do have a final survey done on it. We're going through all of that, so.
So it's built and up,
Oh, yes, sir, it's complete.
okay, and the plans that were submitted, were correct and met all requirements,
Yes, sir.
but then somewhere along the line it was flipped, the driveway was moved to the other side.
So what happened was we staked the four corners with the surveyor. We had him come out and stake the four exterior corners of the building. It's got a dogleg garage on it, so I don't know if anybody has a copy of the plan or if you want me to.
We do, we have everything.
And so the dog leg, if the house was flipped in its correct orientation, would fall within the setbacks and be fine. Inadvertently, the concrete man grabbed the wrong set of plans out of the other job box beside it, and when he laid it out flipped, so it was a left-hand garage. I take full responsibility for it. I should have caught it, but I did not catch it, and so here we sit. So, again, we've put measures in place to try to correct that in the future. It was an honest mistake. It wasn't intentional by any means. If you ride down the road and look, you can't tell that it's off. It's one of those situations. It sits back far enough across the road. If to the layman person, they wouldn't realize that the setback followed the radius of the cul-de-sac. It's not out of place. It's not, it's not a detriment. We're building a house next door to that. I have those people under contract. We're there. We've built. I think we've got 9 going, or in the process of a total of 9 that we've built up here in the last year and a half or so. So, again, it's a mistake. I come humbly asking for forgiveness and whatever I need to do to try to rectify the situation. So we certainly don't want to have to tear the front portion of the house down. We're at the mercy of the board and what direction we need to go from here. So.
Okay, thank you. Anybody, public, have any questions or comments or anything they want to say?
One question, is this house already sold to somebody that owned it already, or is this a spec house?
It is a spec home. Yes, sir. We can't CO it obviously till we fix it. We did not advertise that. We've taken it off of the market when we realized what the problem was, and would like to get it resolved obviously before we go under contract. We don't need any issues with title or deed or any of that. So.
Okay. Any public comments? Okay, if not, we're gonna close the public portion and open it up to the board for comments or questions. Anyone on the board have any questions or?
Yeah, I have the safety question. I know sometimes when we're looking at variances, they affect first responders' ability to get, has that been considered in any way? Have you looked at that, Gina?
No, I haven't. No.
I have a question. This piece of paper says, you just stated that this has never happened before, but this application says this contractor has previously constructed a deck on a different home within the setback.
So when the orientation of the house is the issue. When we first started to build up here, we built a wood deck in the same subdivision on that, not this house, on a different house. Where I live, wood decks are not considered accessory structures in what we have. And so we petitioned to this board a variance in regards to that, to your land development code. So where we're at, a wood deck in certain height is considered landscaping or decorative, not an accessory structure. So that's where that came into play. So, but we did cut.
However, the bottom line here is that if you're a contractor
Yes, ma'am.
and you're building here in Mexico Beach, it's your responsibility to build according to what is in our code and is in requirements.
Yes, ma'am, we cut that deck back and we corrected that situation, so it was one of those situations, it was, and to be honest with you, the AC platforms fell in that same category, and so when you raise that AC platform up in the air, like what we had to do to be out of the floodplain, we had that same issue, and it was built on a deck situation, so, again, different land development codes read different things. We didn't pick up in your land development code that a deck was considered an accessory structure, and so by definition, it could have been argued either way, but that was the precedence here in this jurisdiction. So we cut it back and we didn't get that variance. We corrected the situation. This particular case is not quite so easy, so. And again, it was a mistake. Obviously, we didn't build the house that way intentionally. I mean, it was a mistake, so. Does everybody have a copy of the site plan? I mean, can they see?
We do.
They can answer your question on ingress and egress. I mean, it comes in off the road just like the other side. I mean, if anything, it probably helps the situation for pervious area. So, I mean, in hindsight, but,
Driveway shorter,
yes.
okay.
You know, I drove by the house today and looked at it, and even if you took, the garage sticks out, protrudes out from the front of the house like a lot of houses do. Even if you took that garage back to the front porch, the corner of the house is still gonna be within the setback. Even if you went in there and tore down 5, 6 feet of the front, it would still be sitting on the setback, the corner of the house.
Are you
So-
sitting right here?
Yeah, right here, if you look
Uh-huh.
at this line here, if you,
Yeah.
if you tore the front of this house down, straight across this line here,
Yeah.
okay, and then measure it here, it's still gonna be sitting on the setback.
Okay.
I don't know how much, not much, but it will be,
According to the surveyor, if we were to clip it off there, it would not encroach. That was according to the surveyor. It would be within inches. It would be very minute. I think it's 5.89 feet.
Is it?
Okay. Anybody else on the board have comments?
I assume we've received no comments from anybody in Ocean Plantation, their homeowners association or anything?
Not that I'm aware
I
of.
haven't received anything.
now, I remember a while back, we had a situation on 34th or 35th.
Yes.
The council instituted a policy where you guys or somebody in the building goes by when they stake it out and says, this is,
When right before they pour the foundation, that's right.
okay, did that happen with this one?
No, this was permitted well before that was implemented.
So as of today, this situation probably would not happen if they came in today and Well, if they follow
followed
the
in,
plans.
yeah, if they followed the plan, this would not happen, right? But it may still happen.
So now, you guys go out after the slab is poured, right?
We go out right before the slab is poured, but the contractor has to call us to tell us to come out. So if they don't do that and they go ahead and pour, then there's a slab, it's there. So
Okay,
it could still happen, but it won't be a fully erect structure anymore, but it could be a slab.
okay, but these guys mirrored this house. How would would you guys have called that to them?
Yeah, because the strings would have been pulled, and, you know, there would have been measurements taken and we would have seen that it's in the wrong spot.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
This is a hard situation.
It is.
I move that we deny the request and, you know, I just, I can't see that we can permit this to go on, you know? If we do this, then, you know, the next guy comes along and flips a house and, you know, I mean, if we've got a professional contractor that's building a spec house, then that ought to be built according to what our regulations are.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay.
It's unfortunate, but
Yep.
I'm sorry, but that's the way I
Well,
feel about it.
Right, and just in the discussion, there's, two layers to this. There's the council
Sure.
portion and our portion, and I think we have different responsibilities in those layers, so. When you're ready, Lindsay.
Mr. Hogan?
Yes.
Ms. Lindsay?
Yes.
Mr. Kerrigan?
yes.
Mr. Driver?
Yes,
Mr. Masters?
Yes.
okay, motion is passed. Variance is denied, so you'll need to go to the council on Tuesday, and, they'll take it up there. Okay, thanks for coming. Sorry that had to happen. Okay, next one we have is replat 1002 Highway 98, units 3 and 4. Request to combine 2 parcels. Open the public hearing portion. Is anybody here to represent the group?
Yes, sir. I'm Tyler Marsh with Southeastern Consulting Engineers, and the homeowners, Mr. Christopher and Miss Susan Camick, are here as well. They want to combine 2 parcels, one roughly 18 foot and one roughly 16, to create a 34.44 foot wide parcel to build one single family residence. This is pretty straightforward here. Just combining 2 smaller parcels there to create a larger one.
Okay. Gina, any comments on this one? Pretty straightforward,
Pretty
nothing,
straightforward, yeah.
nothing we're not seeing.
Reducing density from 2 to 1, so.
Okay.
Bill, is this the commercial, or, I don't have the agenda, is this the commercial?
Yes.
It's zone general commercial.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
There's one that one of the lots is commercial and one of them isn't. Is this the one?
No, this isn't that one.
Oh.
But it's
Next,
commercial.
farther down the agenda.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about.
Are both of them general commercial or just one?
Yes.
Both of them.
Okay.
Says
Well,
that on the first page.
again, if both of these are general commercial, I have a comment.
Go ahead, Lisa.
As I have said multiple times before, I am objecting to this on general principle, because I do not feel that any residential should be allowed in our tiny amount of commercial space that we still have. It's nothing to do with the couple who's building the house. This is on general principle. It is a mistake, in my opinion, to continue to go down the street and until someone comes to their senses, we're destroying what commercial property we have left.
Understood.
Thank you.
Yes, sir?
I'm Ed Garza. I'm Chris Kanak. I'm the owner of the lots. We had a townhouse in Unit 4. I don't know if y'all remember them. There were the 2-story townhouses between Sharon's and Gulf Foods, and they all got wiped away. So we got a variance already to build in the same footprint, another townhouse, but we're trying to make it a little more attractive, a little more usable. Unit 1 has rebuilt, and we're using Unit 2 as like a boat pad. We'd like a little space with that, so we want to combine them and just put another house there. We had a house before. We're not taking away from commercial. It was already residential.
Right. And in the bigger picture, what Lisa's talking about is we've had several discussions in our group and regarding that we're just running out of commercial space. So as the residential kind of eats into the commercial, it's a challenge for us because of our regulations and comp says that we should promote commercial where possible. So that's the conflict.
So I didn't get it. We're actually looking for some commercial property to open a new business down here.
Please.
Where you have some.
I'm sorry. Did I open public comment?
That's my time.
Okay, anybody have any comments public-wise? Anything to add?
All those mom and pop businesses are gonna be unhappy, you know, just clamoring for real estate. But I would make a motion that we approve.
Let me close the public first. Thank you. Gonna close the public portion, open to the board. Dave?
I mean, it's straightforward. I think we should make a motion to approve, the replat of district.
Okay. Do we have a second or any discussion?
Why? I struggle with this because I understand the need for the commercial, but at the same time, if this is not prohibited by our regulations, then, you know, we just keep spinning the same
Yep.
thing around time and time again. So, since this is the, third one we've had
At
since
least.
the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we shouldn't, you know, we gotta deal with this that's before us right now. But maybe we need to go back to the city council and say, look, you know, this is coming up more than one time. We need commercial businesses. We need to have something here. So maybe it's time that because, you know, we need to put it in there that we're just not gonna give up any more commercial property. And it needs to be part of the regulations somehow,
Mhm.
because otherwise, you know, you hate to deny, it's like the one we had last time. They fit the category.
Mhm.
So, you know, it's not fair to deny it to people who fit in the category. And if we're denying it just because we need commercial property, we need to address that issue. That's my
I think it's, and I hear what you're saying, I think it's difficult because you're actually, if you're, you could do something moving forward, but to go back
Right.
and say,
Right.
you own
Right.
commercial property, you can put residential on it,
Yeah.
tomorrow you can't.
Right,
That's
Yeah.
very difficult to do.
Yeah.
That's almost saying, we wish this had not been allowed in the past.
yeah,
And to fix that mistake, we're gonna punish you now, and that's not fair if you're
Right.
in there, so.
Well,
I
we
agree.
did have an opportunity to fix it, and it didn't get fixed, y'all know that. We did have the opportunity, and that massive discussion that went for weeks when we reviewed the comprehensive plan and rewrote everything. But it didn't stick, and now we're going down this road, and there's no end in sight, and there is no viable commercial property. Case in point, our post office has nowhere to go because there's no small commercial place for it to go. So, you know, it's a road that's got to come to an end at some point.
Yep, I hear you.
And
Okay, Beth,
I do want to make sure that these people know I'm not pointing fingers at them. I always say this on general principle every single time it comes up, so this is not pointed at you.
any other comments from the board? We have a motion and some discussion. Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second. This is a motion to approve the variance request.
Mr. Hogan,
Yes.
Ms. Lindsay,
yes.
Mr. Kerrigan,
Yes.
Mr. Driver,
Yes,
Mr. Masters.
Yes.
okay. Thank you very much for coming. Good luck at the council. You can stay if you want.
But you don't have to.
Yeah. Okay, next one's 104 32nd Street, A and 3203 Highway 98. This is the one that's, I believe, one commercial and one residential. And Gina, is that correct?
yes.
On this
Yes.
one?
This one is the one commercial, one residential, and they're perpendicular to each other.
Yeah, they tee into each
Yeah.
So the plans we show is, I'm gonna open the public portion, I'm sorry. One's on Highway 98,
Right.
and then the,
Townhouse, right.
right, and that's residential and it's already built?
Yes, it's already built.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then all you're asking for the house the lot perpendicular to combine that with the one on 98.
That's what I'm trying to do, they got different zones. And I can't get a permit to build I wanna build a deck on the vacant lot behind my townhouse. And with the different zones, I need them to be the same in order to get a permit to build a deck right
To build a
there.
deck, okay.
Deck,
Yeah, this is the second story deck.
that's correct, because I need an elevator for me and my wife to get in to the second story, so that's what I'm trying to do.
Gotcha. Okay. So, this is 32nd Street, so if I drive down 32nd Street and I look from,
Immediate on the right is the first lot, there was a townhouse there.
right, correct, okay. So then I would be viewing the deck from 32nd Street,
You would,
okay? But it's attached to the house, your
Right.
proposal,
that's right.
two-story, okay.
Bill, I have a picture if you don't have
Yeah, I think in my mind, I can see your
It's
picture.
three contiguous units, I think he's got the center,
Yeah, I'm in the middle, that's correct.
Okay,
so he's got a unit on either side of him, but this is the vacant lot.
so that's the one.
And
Where's
you-
the one?
And you own this vacant lot?
I do. And the townhouse.
Right. Okay, so,
So if you, the reason you're here is you can't put a structure, a deck on a single lot.
That's correct.
So
I
you
gotta
need to
build a
combine them,
townhouse.
so it becomes one lot and then you can do.
And I don't, and you know, with this other discussion that was ahead of me, I don't care whether it's commercial or not, because I've talked to the tax assessor in Bay County and in Panama City, and they said the taxes will be the same, so it doesn't matter to me. You can leave it commercial or change it to residential, it doesn't matter. I don't have a problem.
So what is this deck gonna look like?
It's gonna be whatever plan the zone tells me I can do, but it'll be a second, two-story
Okay,
deck, so I can put an elevator there to get into my, back of my unit.
is it gonna be roofed? Is it
No,
just
no,
gonna
no,
be-
no, it's just gonna be,
It's
a-
just gonna be a flat?
just a
open deck?
flat, open deck, no roof, no nothing.
so your main purpose in doing this is to get to your existing townhouse?
That's correct.
Okay,
And I can't build a deck with the zoning that it's got now, see, the vacant lot.
right.
Right. And you don't have room to put what you need because of the setback, yeah.
This one is sticky.
Yeah, but I think his lot, the one with the deck on it, is adjoining the back of A and C units also.
That's correct.
That's right.
That's
I mean,
correct.
it joins the entire back of A, B, and C.
That's correct, it's 128 feet long, that's correct.
Okay, so it goes, the existing units are here and here. Right?
Like this.
That's
You've
correct.
got, you've got,
Perfect
Just,
speed.
the lot is a little easier to read this way. This is US 98, he owns that townhome. He's purchased this lot back here, so he's creating a T.
right, so he's gonna come from the center. He's gonna come from the center unit.
Creating a
Deck,
T
all
in
the way
what way?
15 feet long, into.
He has a lot that fronts 98. The
20.
lot that he's purchased is one of those little skinny lots that's on 32nd Street.
You say it's here.
So it,
Where is his house?
98. You
He's
want to
the center.
combine this,
Here's the little
so
lot.
we can have it there.
Okay, so he owns this lot.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
he has a home here.
he's creating a
And so he's gonna build a 15-foot long walkways over the back of the property to his lot, to his open. Kind of confusing.
It is.
I've never seen anything like it.
I don't know what that does to the whole lot.
Yeah, I really tried to.
I don't think I've ever heard of it.
That is a good question. Have you talked to the other owners on either side of you?
They expressed no problem.
Okay, just wondered.
Nobody's here tonight to,
No, that was,
And I haven't received any comments on this.
And is how long is the deck?
it's probably gonna be around, let's see, I got
Is it on here?
some sketches
Is
here.
it-
It's gonna be
okay.
like-
24 foot.
It's gonna be like 14 feet wide, and it's going to be,
And then a 6
approximately 24 feet long. It's not gonna go all the way,
Okay.
the whole wide, no, I don't wanna do that. No.
Okay,
so that's not,
It is.
not very big.
and the lot says it's 14 by.
Right.
I think you can
Put
say
it down.
14 by 20, 28 is what it's gonna be. 24, 14 by
And
24.
then he's gonna take back to the 6
Non-traditional lot,
foot.
there was not.
Yeah.
The width of this lot is 20.
According to this drawing, it looks like it's 22.
Is the width of your lot, the long one, is 22 feet wide?
It's 22 feet wide with a setback on the, because this was the end unit of the townhouse, that's a 5-foot setback from the property.
So are you gonna use the underside of the deck for parking or something?
There's a slab there from the previous townhouse,
Okay.
and it'll just be used for storage up under my, deck. It will not have a top or anything.
Okay. All right, any other questions from the board?
I don't know, I just prefer you open an ice cream stand up there.
I told you, it's matter about the zoning.
We promise to stay out of the elevator.
I don't have a problem.
Okay, thank you. I'll close the public portion. Board's off, I think. Do we have a motion to approve?
Yeah,
of
I
this?
understand that the result would be a non-traditional shaped lot, but the deck is not fronting Highway 98, and I think it's within the setbacks, correct?
It will be.
So I make the motion to approve the replat request.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Mr. Hogan?
Yes.
Ms. Lindsay?
Yes,
Mr. Kerrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Driver?
Yes.
Mr. Masters?
Yes.
Okay, motion's passed. Thank you for coming.
Thank y'all, and I will deal with when I get my permit, then I'll deal with them about getting my deck built up.
You still have a council meeting Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll be here. Thank y'all much.
thank you very much.
Okay. 101 South 25th Street. Request to combine 2 parcels. Going to open the public portion. Is anybody here representing that property? All right.
I'm back. First I will say, Lindsay can be very much missed. And, if I can give you a raise, I can talk to some of the council members or
Yeah.
something like that, if that helps out.
I'll let you know that.
She will be missed with the city and all that. I'm here in 2 capacities. One is a neighbor, and I take no objection to what they're asking for. So if you want to put that on record, in case they want to say that. Also, I'm here representing the owner. All she wants to do is combine the 2 lots. Currently, she has the property on 98 and the middle lot between 24th and 25th Street. The 98 had a duplex before the storm. She wants to put a single-family house on there. And instead of building a house on the middle lot, she just wants to put a pool house. And that's more than an accessory structure. The LDR allows you to put an accessory structure, but it's more than a accessory structure. So we just want to make sure we get that variance before we combine the lots. I can put an example to Gina, I don't know if you forwarded to them or not.
Yeah, it's in the
Pictures.
packet.
It's in the
A
packet.
potential, yeah, and I apologize for the misspell on it said exams, it's supposed to say example. That's when you don't check the spelling every time you look at it, but nonetheless, that's all we're asking.
Okay.
Makes the full house, pretty much.
No, sleepover accommodations in the pool house,
Correct.
just.
Kitchen,
Kitchen.
just like the picture. Actually, I found that online, Gina said, hey, just give us some examples or something like that. It would definitely come back to the building department to make sure we're going to pull the permit and it meets the requirement. But it's basically, just the living quarters, just like that picture show. I told the owner, I said, it looks pretty perfect right now.
Now, this house, this pool house would not have to be elevated, I mean, you can build it on the ground, right?
Oh, it would have to meet flood elevation, yeah, for sure. I mean, it wouldn't, you know. So the pictures that he provided were just concept,
Right.
you know, and here's what it might look like. But yeah, it would all have to meet current flood elevation.
Tell me if I'm wrong now, currently the code says it's a foot and a half above the ground of the road.
If it's in the shaded X, which I think this one is.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So then you would have a pool on the ground, and you would go up steps to the pool house.
Or the pool's elevated a little bit.
You know, it would elevate.
I think that's already taken care of within the requirements and all that, and DEP. It's in the CCCL requirements, so we're looking at all that.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
How,
To me or them?
well, I address it to Bill. How is the city going to know whether or not it becomes living quarters? Because I can think of 2 pool houses that were built that were told absolutely no living quarters, and they both immediately turned into that, and it was a problem. So how do you stop someone from turning it into living quarters? I mean, then you can say all you want that it's not gonna have this, but it's so simple to turn a pool house into a pool apartment.
Well, you know, I don't have the answer other than you're not supposed to speed, but it's simple to speed. And you have code people to check you, so if you're speeding to catch you. So to me, that falls back on the code group to do it. I can't, you know, look in the pool house every week to see if anybody's sleeping there, but
Just wanted to throw that out
I
there.
hear you.
And this one too, now they could build 3 houses on the same property, and all they're asking for is 1 home and a pool house, so it's a reduction in density.
Used to be Coca John, the duplex there.
Uh,
Yeah, we used to own on 25th, so there used to be a little duplex there, and then there's a lot behind it, was very big, you had to build a tiny house on it. But, yeah, looking at this plan, it's a nice layout.
Thank you.
Good point on the reduced density. Okay. All right, any comments, any more comments from public? What is the public portion?
I heard you mention variance, but you're not looking for a variance.
No,
You're
I'm
looking for
not.
a replat.
I'm not getting the vocabulary that you guys are
Okay,
looking
I
for.
wanted to clear that up.
I could let Gina talk for me. She knows exactly what we're looking for.
All right.
She's already helped me with that.
Yeah.
I'm new at this.
Okay. So, do we have any motions?
I move we approve the request for a replat.
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Hogan?
Yes.
Ms. Lindsay?
Yes.
Mr. Kerrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Driver?
Yes,
Mr. Masters?
Yes.
okay.
Thank you all very much. You have a good night.
Thank you. Next one is 120 South 41st Street, request to combine parcels. Anybody here representing that particular piece of property? Gina, looks like you're executive summary again.
This property, it had a duplex on it before the storm. 1 unit on one piece of property, another unit on the other piece of property. The man owns both properties now, and he wants to combine them and build a duplex back, but he wants to own the whole thing as opposed to have 2 separate parcels.
So density would be the same.
Density would be the same,
He just wants to put it in the middle,
correct.
have the setbacks on the side.
So he has to meet setback requirements with this situation, right?
On the side.
On the
On the
side,
side.
On the center.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even though the way he's building it, he's building a setback on the center almost.
He's doing what?
The way he's building, he's got a setback between the 2 units.
Correct. Or he's got space between the 2, yeah.
Do you have any heartburn on this one, or
No,
pretty straightforward?
pretty straightforward.
Okay.
didn't want it to be configured in this way ownership wise, he would just build it.
Talking.
We wouldn't even be talking about it.
Right, you can just, you can go back and put one on each lot
Correct.
and go from there.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
So if he left them, does he currently own both lots
Yes,
anyway?
yes, he is.
So if he left them, not combined, he could go back and build what was there before and not have any setbacks.
Correct.
And have a bigger property.
Right.
I think I understand.
All right, I'm gonna close the public portion. Any more comments from the board? Do we have a motion from the board?
I'll make a motion to approve the replat request.
Second. Second from Alex.
Mr. Hogan,
Yes.
Ms. Lindsay,
Yes.
Mr. Kerrigan,
Yes.
Mr. Driver,
Yes.
Mr. Masters.
Yes.
While we're at this point, Gene, I have a question for you. We're seeing lots of combining. Are we seeing where people have a non-conforming lot and they're going back and putting something right in the same footprint, non-conforming? Have you seen any of those? We haven't seen any.
I've seen some post-storm, but not in the last probably year.
Okay. It seems like everybody's taking 2 or 3 and making 1 or
Yeah,
whatever, so our density's going down,
definitely, yeah.
probably product quality up. Okay. Thank you for your help. Let's move on to Mario or Gene is ever gonna talk to us about code enforcement update.
You have the 3 spreadsheets that Kathy has produced on the work that she has been doing over the last year. On the very first sheet, you see the demolition that has taken place within Mexico Beach in the green are the homes that have been demolished. The ones that are in blue are stuff either in legal battles or insurance battles. The ones in red have gone through the special master. The ones in orange are staged to be next with the special master. And the ones in blue are probably going to become the orange here shortly. And again, if you look at some of the ones that are left, even though they don't fall into the blue category of insurance or legal, I think what's happening with the ones that are the orange color are homes that are clearly need to be, that need a heck of a lot of work. And I think what the owners are trying to do is find a way to get an engineer to show them how to get it to work as opposed to the letter that they have that tells them that they have to demolish the house. So I think there's some level of denial, which is why it's taking so long. Some of these people, like I said, are looking to see if there's a way that they can salvage what's left of their home as opposed to tearing it down completely. The council is going to have a meeting tomorrow at 4 o'clock to potentially go over some of these issues. I don't know that they can really solve the issue of somebody trying to get an engineer to fix their home, short of saying that there's a drop dead date and, you know, we go based on a drop dead date. But keeping in mind the ones that you have in blue, it would be kind of awkward for us to demand something when they still don't have closure from insurance or some kind of ownership type problem. So,
Well, personally, I have a little problem with that as far as, and by the way, let me start positive. Great list. I'm sure, you know, we've worked hard to get the green ones done. What I see as an issue is because there's internal challenges with ownership or family, that's an ownership family thing to work out. That's not a Mexico Beach thing to work out. And I know that we're past 2 years, so I don't really put that in quite the same category as insurance. Over on the insurance side, that can drag out for a long, long time. And I think we owe them some latitude as good neighbors and whatever, but any pressure we can put on the insurance company and the owners to move that along. And I know sometimes it's like moving a brick wall, it just isn't, the insurance company's not gonna move, but, it's a difficult situation. I appreciate the work, I appreciate the list, and I would just encourage, the council to keep on their path and, keep working these things. It's gonna take some time, but, lots of good progress. Anybody else on the board have any comments they'd like to say?
What I would like to see is a policy. So I appreciate that this has been put together. This is like a status report, so this is helpful to see, but it doesn't tell me what's required next of them. And it's good to see that someone called on, December the 10th or emailed on January the 25th, but what are they required to do in the month of March? If they don't do that, what happens? That's what I would like to see, a policy in place that proves that someone is aggressively pursuing this path.
Hopefully the council will help us in that regard. And
Is that-
especially-
Again, if it's in an insurance claim, I don't know what deadline you can give anybody to make a difference in an insurance claim, so
But how do we know that it's in an insurance claim if you don't have any paperwork that's been submitted to you? I mean, are we taking their word for it?
that's what this in blue is he's got a report from them saying that it's still in insurance claim.
To a point though, on the insurance, and I'm kind of with Jack on this, insurance isn't an excuse in my mind. You have a problem with the insurance company, we're trying to work it out. There comes a time, it could be 10 years before you work insurance. I have a friend in Galveston, took him 10 years. So it's not right for the city to wait, the neighbors to wait 10 years to get something done because the insurance company's not cooperating. So, at some point, I think the landowner needs to step up and we need to give them a deadline, which could put pressure on the insurance company. But I hope the council will take this
So
up.
if I'm understanding this correctly, so one like 4108 Highway 98. A letter was sent April 2020. Is that a letter from the city to them, or what letter from whom to whom?
These are Kathy's reports, so it wouldn't be no letter from Kathy.
You said 4108.
I'm just trying to understand maybe
It's
the.
a blue
About
one.
the middle of
It's
the
a blue.
blue.
Yeah, it says court date
Yeah.
1/11/21.
So yeah, so there was a letter sent last April and there was a court date almost 2 months ago, so
Court date
what happened in court?
Yeah.
Have to check with that.
Well, the only comment I have to make, and this is really excellent spreadsheet, is that at the meeting, it's a council meeting, last one, the one before, your master was released from his duties. And I'm not quite sure the rationale, I'm sure it was a personnel issue, but I know the guy who was the master,
Is this the special master?
yes.
Okay.
He was released, again, it's a personnel issue, I'm sure. But in my mind, I think he was a person that could get stuff done. So I guess my question is, who is gonna replace him? That's got the tenacity and the drive to make this happen. We're 2 years plus down the road, finally there's some movement after 2 years. So are we back to where we were 2 years ago and have nobody to carry this forward? I guess.
you know,
Yeah, like I
assume the
say,
city
my
will-
concern is that here we are, we made progress, we got a special master. In my mind, I know the guy, and I think he was the right guy for the job now. Apparently, somebody else didn't think so. But now we have no one, so we're back again to nowheres.
we would hope like any position, Lindsay's position or whatever, that we would get that filled quickly, and I'm sure it's a priority for Mario, but I don't wanna speak for.
Who was the special master?
Jim Bush.
Okay.
Can I say something about the insurance? I think that's kind of our industry. It's gone on long enough that someone from the city can just send a letter to the Department of Insurance and say, we have concerns about this. Are these cases being handled with good faith? The Department of Insurance is gonna send a letter to the insurance company that they don't wanna get and have to answer it. What's going on with this? Is it the attorney? Is it the insurance company? Was it a policy issue? Some clarity that could be added to this, so at least whoever's gonna be the special master will have a direction for Kathy or whatever to follow. And it wouldn't cost us anything as a city. It might just be enough to prod some people and say, oh, well, I didn't have flood insurance, but I'm claiming it's flood. Well, it's a contract. So somebody's gonna have to step up and say, okay, this is we're gonna side for this person.
And if you were staying, we'd give you that assignment. If you were staying, we would give you that, yeah,
Special master.
as a volunteer to help the city do that.
You got me for another one.
You know, when you look at the list, 7 of these are blue, where we're waiting on insurance. Then we have a total of 21, I didn't count the red and orange. But, you know, so when you look at that number, it's not, I'm surprised it's not bigger, especially when you ride around town. It seems like
there are more.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that way to me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just go from here to 15th Street, and it seems like it's more. So, you know, I'm kind of encouraged by the fact that we have 7 that we're still waiting for insurance results. The ones that bother me worse are the ones in the orange and the red. But at the same time, I also recognize that it's difficult to get the money out of these people. I mean, people that don't have any money anyway, what are you gonna do?
Well, let me say something about this. It may not be the right place, but as a disabled person, I get all these notices about loans from, you know, all kinds of stuff. The Florida, state of Florida just issued something like $250 million. They're literally trying to get people to rebuild. They're going in and totally rebuilding homes for people. I got a call this afternoon from a lady that said, no, you know, my home's fine, but if there's anyone on these lists that are low income, moderate income, there's help available to get a home built. And this program has been around recently, but it started bubbling up about 2 weeks ago. In fact, there was a story in the Panama City paper and TV Line.
I would guess that the problem with these is the fact
It's
that they,
insurance.
I would guess these are not primary residence homes. Because those government programs will rebuild primary residence homes.
Yeah, that's a
And-
good point.
You know, having some knowledge briefly of some of this stuff, you know, these are places that may have been owned by parents, and we have kids that have now got these places. They don't have any money, they don't have any way to do anything, may have not even had insurance, probably didn't have insurance.
Yeah. But we've got neighbors that live.
Right.
even
I
so,
agree,
so
time for
you know, I
decisions to be
understand, but I just,
They're looking at them every day.
I know.
So is the council want to discuss doing a planning thing tomorrow with a special master? Is the city trying to get one, or what's it?
The city is working with special master on a different avenue. Tomorrow's meeting is to talk about code and what changes they can make. to the code.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with this.
Has nothing to do with what? special announcement. Okay.
If tomorrow's meeting does not,
I didn't hear a set, got it.
Okay. Tell us about RVs.
RVs has a different color code. You look at the very back of the page, and I can't read it, so I don't have my magnifying glass.
But there's so much more fun
Yellow,
RVs.
yellow is a stored RV, which, again, there's nothing in our code that keeps you from
Storage.
storing your RV on your parcel. If there's a place where the council's gonna make modifications, I have a feeling it's gonna be in this portion. The green is remodeling, so they've got a building permit, so that's, anything you see in green is permissible. Anything in blue is an RV that's been removed. I can't see text on top of red, and I can't see text on top of purple, so if somebody can read it for me, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Notice
The chances are the red and the purple are the bad ones anyway.
so, but they can't leave an RV on, okay, if your house is blown away, you've got an empty lot. You can't park an RV, you can't store one, you can live in it, right, for a certain period of time while you're rebuilding.
No.
If you have a building permit, you can live in an RV on your lot,
Right.
if you have a building permit.
Correct.
They allow people to live on empty lots for a short period of time, but that date is come and gone. So there should be no RVs on vacant parcels that don't have a building permit.
And they can,
And
what about?
right now, if you drive through town, there are probably only about 3 or 4 RVs that are just sitting in a vacant lot. So those are few and far between.
Well, my question was about, can they just store it? I mean, if they got a vacant lot sitting here, pull it up here and just,
There's nothing in our code that prohibits you from just having stuff in an empty lot, which may be discussed tomorrow.
Interesting.
yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah. Mario, are we still doing, annual permits, stickers, or something, so we're tracking these?
Yeah, there is a permit for people that are legally living in an RV while they're under construction. They get a permit for that.
Okay.
And that's gonna be everything that I think you probably see in green.
That's great.
So blue is removed, green is permitted, red are problem areas, and you can see they're few and far between.
It's homesteaded.
Homesteaded is something that will get discussed tomorrow, because just interpolating through the word that it's on a list that I did not create, I'm assuming that they've allowed some leeway, and I'm not sure that the code allows for any leeway on homesteaded.
So those could be red ones.
I have a feeling that those will be red.
Okay.
Will the code enforcement person be in the workshop tomorrow?
The reason that the workshop happens tomorrow at 4 o'clock is because she's currently out of town. Of course, she would have been here, and/or we would have had the meeting yesterday at 9 o'clock when we originally said it, so she's back in the afternoon. So yes, the code enforcement officer will be here tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Tree lot violations, that's just normal.
Yeah, that's just clearing lots and cutting trees, and we haven't gotten into the grass cutting because we're still trying to get down the trees.
Yeah, we've got, that's down the road, there's just almost every vacant lot, 6 inches is supposed to be the height that something has to be done if it's over 6 inches, and we've got gazillions of them over 6 inches. But there's better priorities right now. for sure. Okay. Code person reports to building or you, to you, okay. So Gina's off the hook on this one.
Gina just has to deal with Gina.
Gina, Mario, can you throw a number at us as to how many homes since January 1, or whatever you have in your mind that are permitted or underway, or, just everywhere we look, there's stuff happening.
Kelsey printed out something for me the other day, and I can't tell you how many, but there was $36 million worth of construction in 2019 and 42 million in 2020,
Based on permits.
based on
Yeah.
permits.
And builders have told me it's picked back up. And when I heard that phrase, what do you mean? I was there for a long time,
Yeah.
but they agreed that there was, and I worked with a lot of
During the
builders.
holidays, there was a little bit
Yep.
of a lull, but it's, after, what did you say, middle January, late January,
Yeah,
it
big
kicked
backup.
back up quite a bit. And the material costs are absolutely, positively ridiculous.
I've heard that.
Wood, metal, you name it, it's not just twice as much, it's 5, 6, 8, 10 times as much.
Crazy.
Gina, how many staff members do you have on your group?
There's 2, well, 3 including me.
You've got a lot more depth outside the
Well,
office.
There's one, Willie. You mean the company-wide?
Yeah.
No, just here in Mexico
Just
Beach.
here in Mexico Beach, there's 4 of us. There's Willie, the inspector, and then,
But they have the ability to pull from more if need be. So,
Yeah.
again, that's one of the reasons for outsourcing some things is so that you can have depth of.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's up from one. in the
That's
old
not
days.
possible, but yeah.
That's right, so that's up from
One person in the old.
to
days.
3 days a week, even.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and had it under control.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I'd like to know is how many building permits did you give out in 2016 and 2017?
You know what, I should look that up.
That's what I'd like to know is what was going
Normal
on
years.
pre-storm
Yeah.
Yeah.
versus post-storm.
Yeah.
Even 2018, you really only
Yeah.
lost 2 months.
And we couldn't get any permits
Yeah.
during that time, so.
Yeah.
I suspect it's a start different.
Well, but here's the thing that not everybody's grasping. It's not just the building department, because my water department then has to hook up water to all those. My street department is cleaning up because there's so many more trucks with materials and everything else going around. Sanitation department is picking up more garbage because it's a different
Right.
atmosphere. It's not home owners, it's builders, which are a little bit more free with their garbage. You know, the fact that everything is just, everybody here is working, at 10 times harder than they were before the storm. You know, the building department, like you said, 1 person, 3 days a week, to 3 people, 5 days a week.
Right.
It's that much more work for them. It's no different for the water department, sewer department, sanitation, and others. Our city typically functions off $4 million a year. Probably about $40 million a year is what we're going through right now. So that requires that much more oversight, that much more accounting, that much more, that much more, that much more. So we're still in a recovery state and we'll be that way for another good 2 to 3 years.
What's going on with the St. Joe? Are they doing anything out there?
That project is, got some level of state funding or some kind of funding.
Okay.
And as soon as they close, they'll start. My understanding is that they're very close to getting their funding.
I hadn't seen any work out there.
There's work going on that, again, it's the work that people don't really understand, but they've got silt fence out, they've cut lines, they've surveyed, there's work going on out there, it's the stuff that goes below the radar.
I have a question, it's totally unrelated to everything here. Do we have a ban on open burning of construction material in any way?
Yes.
They would have to pull a permit if there was some kind of commercial type burning, if they had to, but I've not seen any.
Okay, well, we have some neighbors, and their place has been really decimated, and they come down.
Yeah, we're not gonna stop somebody in a little chimenea, you know, that's,
No, they're burning.
you know, if they're
They were
burning,
full lines.
if they're burning piles, please call the fire department.
Okay, cause they, you know, like I said, I mean, they're nice folks, but,
Unless they're in unincorporated Bay County, you can't do anything about it,
but they just keep coming down and throwing all this stuff off the 2nd and 3rd floor and piling it, and they on the lot next door. And
Now, they cannot
They're
burn household.
yeah, that's what
Again,
I thought.
if somebody, again, I've got a chimney and I'll burn my mail, you know, instead
This
of
is not
shredding.
mail.
Yeah, if they stick a couch in it or that is illegal, that's illegal any which way.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, you cannot burn garbage, that's considered garbage.
And
Anybody
what's
else?
lived in West Virginia, they burn couches on a regular basis.
I was just in Tennessee, they start fires by putting a tire in.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any business? Have a motion to close?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Thanks for coming, gang. Input.